Emily received a message from the cowboy that said, "I can't wait anymore." Then he disappeared. This was 3 days before she was supposed to arrive in Montana and marry him. Every message from him stopped. His phone was silent. His social media accounts showed no activity. Even his closest neighbors said they hadn't seen him. Most people would have given up. Gone back home. Emily Petrova had traveled over 5,000 miles from a small Russian town to be with Luke Dawson. She believed he would never disappear without a reason. What she didn't know was that the answer was hidden beneath the ranch. Emily first met Luke through a language exchange website. She had joined to improve her English. Luke had joined because his sister thought he spent much time working on the ranch, and not enough time talking to people. Their first conversation lasted 15 minutes. The second conversation lasted 3 hours. After that, talking to each other became a part of their lives. Luke was different from the men Emily knew. He never played games. He never made promises he couldn't keep. He lived alone on a cattle ranch outside a town in Montana. His parents had died, leaving him the ranch and thousands of acres of land. Life was not easy. Luke loved it. Emily loved hearing about it. She loved hearing about the fields, the mountains, the horses, and the stars. After a year of talking, Luke proposed to Emily over a video call. He just said, "Come to Montana, let's stop living through screens." Emily said yes. They planned everything. Luke prepared the ranch house. Emily completed the paperwork. They bought tickets. Dreams were becoming reality. Then 3 days before her flight, Luke disappeared. At first, Emily thought something had happened to his phone. As the days passed, she started to worry. Friends told her not to go to Montana, and her mother begged her to cancel the trip. Emily couldn't believe that Luke had abandoned her. So she boarded the plane. Flew to Montana. When she arrived, reality hit her hard. Luke wasn't waiting for her at the airport. There was no smiling cowboy, no pickup truck, and no hug. Only silence. Emily rented a car. Drove to the ranch using the directions Luke had sent her. The ranch looked like the pictures, but it seemed lifeless. No trucks were moving, no workers were around. No animals were near the house. Just stillness. Emily stepped out of the car. The wind carried the scent of grass and dust. She knocked on the door. Nobody answered. The front door was. Her heart sank. Then an older man approached her from a neighboring property. "You're Emily?" he asked. He introduced himself as Frank, Luke's neighbor. Frank looked concerned. Said, "We've been looking for him." A cold feeling settled inside Emily. "What happened?" she asked. Frank shook his head. Said, "No one knows." According to Frank, Luke had been seen leaving town 8 days. He had bought supplies, fueled his truck, and talked to people. He had acted completely normal. Then vanished. His truck was found abandoned near the edge of his property with the keys and his wallet untouched. No signs of violence, no explanation. The sheriff believed Luke had chosen to leave, but Frank disagreed. "So do I," Emily said quietly. Over the week, Emily stayed in a small motel and helped search the ranch. The sheriff's department had already checked the places, but they found nothing. Every day brought questions and fewer answers. But one thing bothered Emily. Luke had always talked about the ranch as if it were part of his identity. He would never leave it willingly, especially not days before their wedding. One afternoon, Frank handed Emily a key to the ranch house. "Luke would have wanted you to have this," he said. Emily entered the house alone. Emotion overwhelmed her. Pictures of Luke's family lined the walls, and the kitchen table where he drank coffee during their calls was still there. The couch where he'd sit with his dog was also still there. Everything remained exactly as he had left it. On the desk, Emily found a notebook. Inside were ranch expenses, cattle records, and daily notes. Near the end, she found something, a single sentence written several times. "Need to know what's under the field." Her eyebrows tightened. What did that mean? She kept reading. Found references to strange metal readings and old maps. The entries became increasingly obsessive. Luke clearly believed something important was beneath part of the ranch. Emily showed the notebook to Frank and his expression changed immediately. "That's strange," he said. "Why?" Emily asked. Frank said, "Years ago Luke's father talked about something similar." "What?" Emily asked. Frank hesitated again. Said, "He never said?" The morning Emily searched the ranch house attic. Dust covered everything and old furniture and boxes were stacked everywhere. Then she discovered a chest. Inside were documents belonging to Luke's father. One folded map caught her attention. A section of the ranch had been circled repeatedly. The field where Luke's notebook pointed. Attached was a note. "If anyone finds this, the truth must stay buried." Emily's pulse quickened. What truth? That evening Emily drove to town. Visited the local library. Hours of research uncovered something. Then 80 years earlier the land had belonged to a wealthy ranching family. The family had suddenly disappeared during the 1940s and rumors spread throughout the region. There were rumors of hidden money, lost property, and unsolved crimes. Nothing was ever. Most people forgot. Emily couldn't. The location matched Luke's ranch and Emily returned the morning determined to investigate. Using the map she walked into the south field. The grass stretched endlessly around her. Nothing seemed unusual. Until she noticed a depression in the ground almost invisible. As if the earth had settled over something hidden. Nearby stood a cluster of trees, their roots twisted around broken stones. Emily cleared the dirt away. A rusted metal hatch emerged. Her breath caught. The hatch was badly corroded. Emily called Frank. Together they forced it open. A rush of air escaped, and they climbed down a narrow staircase descending underground. The tunnel appeared man-made with wooden supports lining the walls. Dust covered everything. After minutes the passage opened into a large underground chamber. Emily froze. Wooden crates filled the room along with furniture, documents, and boxes. Dozens of them. It looked like a hidden storage vault for generations. Frank stared in disbelief. "What is this place?" he asked. Emily stepped closer to one crate. Found stacks of old cash wrapped in deteriorating cloth. Another crate held gold coins and another contained jewelry. The hidden fortune was enormous. Something else caught her attention, a fresh footprint, in the dust. Not old. Recent. Someone had been there. Then she spotted a flashlight. Not ancient. Not forgotten. Luke's flashlight. Her heart pounded. "He was here," she said. Frank nodded. "He found this." They continued deeper into the chamber. Found another tunnel. Unlike the first, signs of activity covered the ground. Someone had walked through repeatedly. Emily followed the tunnel, which twisted underground for hundreds of feet. Then voices echoed ahead. She stopped breathing. Frank heard them, human voices, alive. Moving carefully they approached the sound. The tunnel opened into another hidden room. What Emily saw nearly brought her to her knees. Luke sat against the wall, dirty and unshaven. Alive. For a moment nobody moved. Then Luke looked up. His eyes widened. "Emily?" he said. Tears instantly filled her eyes. She ran to him. Luke pulled her into his arms. Neither of them cared about anything else. For a minute they simply held each other. When they finally separated, Emily saw bruises across his face. "What happened?" she asked. Luke looked exhausted. "I found the vault." He told me everything that happened. A week before he had found some clues in his father's things. He followed these clues. They took him underground. That is where he found the room. He was not the only one who knew about it. There were two men who were related to the people who used to own the ranch. They had been looking for the money that was supposed to be hidden for years. They had been watching the records and the history of the land without anyone knowing. When Luke found the vault first, these men confronted him. They got into an argument. Luke did not want to help them take anything from the vault. So they attacked him. Instead of killing him, they trapped him in a deeper part of the tunnel, while they figured out how to get the money without anyone noticing. Luckily, their plan did not work. The men had left to get some equipment. Luke was able to get out a bit, but he still could not escape. Then Emily found him. Soon we heard the sirens over the ranch. Frank had already called the police. The men who did this were arrested that evening when they came back to the ranch. Everyone in the country heard about what we found. Reporters came to our town. Historians looked at the vault. The experts said the hidden money was worth a lot. Emily did not care about the money. She was just happy that Luke was alive. After a week, when everything was calm again, life went back to normal. One evening, Luke and Emily were standing together looking at the ranch. The sun was making the mountains look golden. They did not say anything for a while. Then Luke smiled. He said, "Most people would have given up and gone home." Emily laughed a little. She said, "Most people are not marrying you." Luke shook his head. He said, "I almost lost everything that matters." Emily said, "No, you did not lose anything. You found everything that matters." He looked at her, the woman who came all the way from Russia. She was not afraid. She did not give up. She kept looking for him because she trusted him. A month later, they got married under the big sky in Montana. Their friends, their neighbors were happy for them. Even Frank cried when he thought nobody was looking. When Luke and Emily were saying their vows, the money that was hidden did not matter anymore. The news about it did not matter. The secret did not matter. What mattered was that these two people from parts of the world chose to have faith in each other instead of being afraid. Because one woman, from Russia, did not give up on the man she loved, a secret that was hidden for a long time was finally found. The best thing they found that year was not gold, or money, or history. It was the truth that real love keeps looking even when everyone else has given up. That is how Emily ended up exactly where she was meant to be with Luke.